Disney go wrong, and how can they return to greatness? Well, I think there's a number of things that kind of went down with Disney, all kind of at the same time period, that both led to a big drop in quality and objective success, like box office, and some things that also made it seem like it was a bigger drop than perhaps it was. So they had this big crescendo year, 2019, that was Bob Iger's farewell, where they had, what was it, $6 or $7 billion films. That is not remotely sustainable. That is not normal. That is not in any way like what you would expect for the future. They, whether by chance, by Bob Iger's manipulations, but they had two different Disney Renaissance live action remakes do fantastic. They did Toy Story 4 that did great. You had Endgame. You had Rise of Skywalker, both of those closing out sagas, and then kind of catching the wave, you also get Captain Marvel, way overperforming, and then coming right after Endgame, you have Spider-Man Far From Home, which is not a Disney movie, that is a Sony movie, but it is connected to Marvel and thus looks even better for Disney despite it actually being a Sony film. So all that happens in 2019. So they're on top of the world. And then next year, Bob Iger leaves and they launch at the end of the year Disney Plus, which with Disney Plus came this dramatic change in how much content they were putting out, how much content the executives were asking each studio to put out, because we still need blockbusters. And then now we need content for a streaming service, and we want it to be premium with movie stars, Pixar characters, all of that fun stuff. So they're doubling how much they're asking from each of these people. Kind of parallel to a lot of this, or running at the same behind the scenes timelines. A couple years before this, John Lasseter gets #MeToo'd. So he didn't go to prison, but there was clearly misbehavior on his part. And John Lasseter was the guy that was a big part of making Pixar for a long, long time. And then for the last 15 years, Disney animation, fantastic. There's just people that have a gift for leading studios, knowing how to which projects to greenlight, being able to spot talent, being able to shepherd that talent and deliver great quality. John Lasseter was just one of those guys that did that. And he did it for over 20 years. And then he was out. But the trickle down for that, the pipeline for movies and things like that, it's several years. So if he's outed in 2017, I don't remember exactly when it happened, the projects that he greenlit, the people that he recruited, that still kind of trickles out through 2019. And so then you start getting into the 2020s, all of a sudden you have the trickle down of not having the John Lasseter's secret sauce working on their Pixar films and not working on their Disney animation films. And all of this is at the same time to where all of these studios are being asked to put out twice as much content, while you also have Bob Chapek taking over. And one of the things that Bob Iger was known for, previous guy that was running Disney that left after 2019, he was known for being very talent friendly. That when he purchased Marvel, he went, Kevin, what can you do? What do you need from me? And trust Kevin to run his studio. And Kevin tells Bob what he needs, not Bob puts quotas on Kevin. There's all sorts of things that you can say are issues with Bob Iger, his strategy, got criticisms, but he was known for being better at trusting the talent, the studios, to know best how to make quality product. And at the end of the day, if you put out great movies that people love, then they sell more tickets and they do better. And so he starts with that, trust the talent to put out great product. Bob Chapek is kind of on the flip side. So Iger leaves, we want twice as much content to populate all these deals, and Chapek is more of a micromanager guy. So I don't even know the specifics of it, but started trusting this, like, for lack of a better phrase, like middle management people to decide what was the best strategy. And so they're now telling Kevin Feige, now I want you to put out this, we need this, 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 and this. And you start having these upper managements that aren't about quality. They're not storytellers. They're bottom line guys stating, well, if you can crank out this much, then we'll do this and we'll drive up this stock price. So we're asking for more product as their mechanism to make more money, trying to fill our streaming services with all of this stuff, and a leadership that is more stockholder friendly than talent friendly, in the very much the short-sighted sense of that. And then COVID hits. So already massive disruption to Disney, which is to say we're now doing streaming and we just lost our CEO of the last 15 years. Then everything shuts down for 9 months. You can't put out movies. You can't have people at your theme parks. And the fuel to sell toys and all this is that you have movies coming out, and the whole engine is shut down. Parallel to this, they also got wrapped up in any number of just very foolish culture wars, whether in some of the people they hired to do projects, some of the just like the statements that they made, where they filmed Mulan, some of these sorts of deals that they start getting involved in culture wars that they weren't really getting involved in the years prior to this. There just was a little bit of a shift there. So all of a sudden, a bunch of people are like, hey, what's going on with some of this? Where did you film Mulan? What is going on? Like, why is this person saying this stuff? So then you just have kind of bad press, bad vibes, and entering the culture war. So there's a group of people that are like, okay, this is our side, you're on the other side, so we're not going to go see your movies, and we're going to talk bad about your movies. All of this at the same time, where they're doubling their content, where you have a less talent-friendly CEO. So it's just like a ton of things all in the same window of time changed. And they lost some key talent and they stretched some talent too thin. And you jump forward 4 years and all of a sudden you're like, yikes. Wow, that was a lot of bombs in 1 year. Yikes, why did they think that movie would work? Yikes, how did that happen? A lot of things happened. A lot of change happened in a very small window of time. And so when that happens, you get yourself in trouble. And I think that's what you're seeing with Disney right now. Will they ever return to greatness? They've always had ups and downs. After Walt Disney died, the 70s and 80s were called the Dark Ages. And they didn't have the big iconic films. Everything was struggling. And then the Renaissance happened and they had this gigantic revival. And then 20 years ago, after the Renaissance, they started putting out stuff like Chicken Little and Dinosaur, and they just didn't really work like they did before. And then Bob Iger takes over, makes some friendships, buys some things, and then things are crazy good again. So they've always had ups and downs. They always will have ups and downs. And we're just kind of seeing that right now, they had a lot of downs. They had a lot of problems right now. It happens. But I'm sure they'll come back. They'll have good days, they'll have bad days. But yeah. It has not been a good run recently, so there you have it. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.